When George and Mildred first appeared on British screens in 1976, it seemed like another light domestic sitcom. But behind the wallpaper and witty barbs was a story of friendship, tragedy, and a subtle social rebellion that fans are still uncovering today. Fact 1.
It's me, your husband.
And there was I, expecting Steve McQueen.
Oh, so it's him.
What?
George and Mildred began life as a spin-off from Man About the House, a hit sitcom about a young man sharing a flat with two women. The landlords, George and Mildred Roper, were originally meant to be minor characters. However, audiences adored their chemistry. The nagging wife and lazy husband dynamic resonated deeply with 1970s Britain. Writers Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer realised the couple could anchor a show of their own. Thames Television commissioned a pilot within months of Man About the House ending. The spin-off premiered in 1976 to immediate success. Ratings soared past 15 million viewers, a huge number for the time. Critics who once dismissed the Ropers now praised them as comic gold. The show cleverly shifted them from inner-city landlords to suburban newcomers. This class move mirrored real social changes in Britain. Suddenly, the Ropers weren't just funny, they were symbolic. Through laughter, they explored aspiration, anxiety, and the absurdities of upward mobility. That's why George and Mildred felt more real than it looked.
Mr. Roper, your cigarette, would you mind?
Oh, it's a bit wet on the end.
Fact 2.
And take that filthy thing out of your mouth.
On screen, George and Mildred bickered endlessly, but behind the scenes, Yootha Joyce and Brian Murphy shared genuine affection. They first met years earlier in repertory theatre, forming a trust that would later anchor their performances. Murphy often said Yootha could turn a silence into a laugh without saying a word. Their timing came from instinct, not rehearsal. During filming breaks, they drank tea together and quietly ran lines. Crew members noted they rarely socialised separately. Where one went, the other followed. Despite playing a worn-out marriage, there was warmth in every exchange. Joyce called Murphy her dearest partner in chaos. Their friendship made the couple's banter feel authentic rather than cruel. Even the show's writers were inspired by their closeness, tailoring dialogue to their real rapport. Murphy later said, "We trusted each other completely, and the audience could feel it." That invisible connection made George and Mildred's marriage one of Britain's most believable comedic relationships. It wasn't tension that made them great, it was tenderness.
By the way, when I come home this morning, I expect a proper cooked breakfast.
Hello, will you?
Fact 3.
She was SEXMAD.
It's damned inconvenient.
Was pregnant.
Geoffrey and Anne Formel, the Ropers' snobbish neighbours, were created to embody middle-class aspiration and irritation. Norman Eshley and Sheila Fern brought them to life with precision and poise. Geoffrey's exaggerated politeness and Anne's quiet exasperation balanced George's blunt humour perfectly. The writers intentionally exaggerated the social gap between the couples. Even their wallpaper colours were chosen to reflect class divide. Eshley's crisp accent and measured delivery came from his real-life middle-class background. Behind the scenes, though, he and Murphy were great friends. They often burst into laughter after arguments that were too convincing. Director Peter Fraser-Jones would yell, "Save it for the take!" because their chemistry was effortless. Audiences found themselves secretly sympathising with both sides. The 4 Miles weren't villains, they were mirrors of ambition. Their dynamic made the Ropers' working-class roots even more endearing. Every episode reminded viewers that class lines in Britain were as thin as a garden fence.
I'm from next door. This is My Little Horror.
Oh, how do you do? This is mine.
Fact 4.
George, that is a bidet.
Oh, yeah. Coming useful for washing the mud off me wellies.
Mildred wasn't just comic relief, she was one of the most layered female characters in British sitcom history. Yootha Joyce played her as proud yet vulnerable, a woman desperate for respectability but trapped by circumstance. Her obsession with appearances reflected the social pressures women faced in the 1970s. Behind the makeup and pearls, there was quiet sadness. Joyce fought for Mildred to be more than a stereotype. She requested rewrites when jokes made her seem too cruel or shallow. Writers respected her instincts, crafting dialogue that mixed dignity with frustration. Viewers saw themselves in her, striving, witty, and often overlooked. Academics later analysed Mildred as a symbol of female ambition in conservative Britain. Joyce infused her with real emotion, especially in quiet moments after punchlines landed. Her eyes could switch from comic to tragic in a heartbeat. That subtle depth turned Mildred into an icon of empathy and irony.
Best behaviour, George. Don't click your teeth. And don't hum while we're talking.
Fact 5.
It's our wedding anniversary. 24 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, George!
Yootha. Joyce's death in 1980 shocked the nation and ended George and Mildred abruptly. She passed away from liver failure after years of battling alcoholism. Few people, even close colleagues, knew how ill she was. During the filming of George and Mildred, the movie, she appeared tired and frail but insisted on finishing every scene. Her professionalism masked the pain. When she died at just 53, production halted immediately. The movie was released posthumously, becoming both a comedy hit and an emotional farewell. Critics called it a last laugh wrapped in heartbreak. Brian Murphy said he couldn't bear to watch it for years. The BBC and Thames aired tributes across Britain, honouring her legacy as one of television's finest performers. Her portrayal of Mildred remains unmatched for its mix of glamour, grit, and humanity. Every rerun carries her spark. She made ordinary life extraordinary and left laughter echoing long after she was gone.
13 years of Tory misrule.
Mike Yarwood.
Yeah, that's right.
Fact 6.
It's your nylon 90, so it gives me electric shocks.
I'll take it off.
No.
When George and Mildred, the movie, was announced in 1980, critics scoffed at the idea. Sitcom spin-offs often failed to translate to cinema, feeling stretched or out of touch. Thames Television took a risk, betting the nation's favourite couple could fill theatres. The story saw the Ropers' disastrous holiday spiral into chaos, combining slapstick with subtle class satire. Filming took place in Brighton and Shepperton studios under tight deadlines. Yootha Joyce was visibly unwell but insisted on professionalism, even joking between takes. Brian Murphy later said her strength held the whole crew together. The production faced constant interruptions from fans flocking to see the pair film. Despite chaotic conditions, the finished movie became a surprise box office hit. Audiences were thrilled to see their beloved characters on the big screen. Critics softened once they saw Joyce's luminous final performance. What began as a commercial gamble became a national farewell. The film earned more than anyone expected and ended the story on bittersweet perfection.
I mean, how could you buy things like that? It's cheap, cheap, cheap.
Yeah, you sounded just like Oscar then.
Fact 7.
This is Mr. Roper.
Beneath the laughter, George and Mildred was a mirror to Britain's shifting social hierarchy. The Ropers' move to suburbia symbolised working-class ambition clashing with middle-class values. Every line about wallpaper, cocktails or cars carried subtle social commentary. Mildred's longing for refinement wasn't just vanity, it reflected real aspiration during the 1970s economic boom. George's apathy embodied the post-war man left behind by progress. Writers Brian Cook and Johnny Mortimer wove sociology into slapstick. They used humour to explore insecurity, pride and social identity. British audiences saw their own dinner tables reflected back, awkward silences and all. Academics later studied the show as cultural anthropology wrapped in laughter. Even today, its class tension feels familiar in British culture. That mix of humour and honesty made it timeless. The Ropers weren't mocking society, they were society learning to laugh at itself.
Darling, how are you, darling?
Oh, that's better.
Where is my wife?
Fact 8.
Well, sort of, here.
And that piece?
Well, more or less. Here. Do you want to go for the jackpot?
Most fans assume the laughter in George and Mildred was fully lived, but that's only partly true. Each episode was filmed before a studio audience at Teddington Studios. However, sound engineers often struggled to capture every laugh clearly.
You don't mind if I talk to you, do you?
To maintain rhythm, they sweetened sections using real audience reactions from previous takes. The result blended authentic energy with technical precision. This method was so effective that few viewers ever noticed. Actors performed some scenes in silence, trusting editors to add laughter later. Timing remained immaculate because the cast rehearsed with metronomic discipline. Engineers kept detailed logs marking where each laugh belonged. Unlike American shows that used canned laughter, George and Mildred preserved genuine crowd spontaneity. The hybrid process became standard practice across British sitcoms. It proved that laughter could be engineered without losing soul. The warmth you hear is still real, just perfectly orchestrated.
He didn't crumble, Jerry.
No, it never worked for me, nada.
Fact 9.
Are you in that bath yet?
Yeah.
Oh, well then you must look very foolish because there's no water in it.
The Ropers' suburban home was a character in itself. Designers recreated every detail of a 1970s lower-middle-class household. The wallpaper patterns, avocado bathroom suite, and mismatched furniture came straight from catalogues of the time. Every item told a story.
You have been in that bathroom for over half an hour.
Yeah, well, had to wipe the walls down, didn't I?
Aspiration meeting limitation. The living room's clutter reflected Mildred's desire for style beyond her means. George's favourite chair never changed position, symbolising his stubbornness. Next door, the 4 Mill's pristine decor visually mocked the Ropers' chaos. Set decorators even sprayed dust unevenly to make rooms feel lived in. The kitchen clock famously stopped working mid-series, but producers kept it as an in-joke. Fans later wrote letters asking where they could buy Mildred's china set. Watching reruns today feels like stepping back into the real 1970s. The set wasn't fiction. It was documentary, disguised as decor.
If you earned a proper wage, we might be able to afford some decent furniture for a change.
Shut your trap.
Fact 10.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, a bit on the skinny side, but there you go. I like a bit of meat on it myself.
That's my wife.
Yeah.
Over the years, 2 early George and Mildred episodes mysteriously vanished from Thames Television's archive. For decades, archivists believed they were permanently lost due to tape reuse, a common cost-saving practice. In 2008, a private collector discovered off-air VHS recordings in an attic. Restoration experts at Network spent months repairing the degraded footage. When finally released on DVD, fans were ecstatic. The rediscovery completed the show's run for the first time in 30 years. Television historians hailed it as a small miracle of preservation. The find also reignited interest in lost British television. It reminded audiences how fragile media heritage once was. Those recovered episodes captured the show's earliest tone, raw, looser but full of promise. Thanks to one fan's dusty tapes, the Ropers' story was whole again. Sometimes comedy survives not through studios, but through the people who loved it most.
I won the treble. Well, what were the odds?
My lover at 5-2.
Thank you.
Fact 11.
Well, it's the open air, you see. And the money, of course. All those £6 fines, they soon add up, don't they?
Brian Murphy's voice became instantly recognisable, a rough, working-class Cockney drawl that defined George Roper. Yet in real life, Murphy spoke with a soft, articulate tone closer to received pronunciation.
It was suggested that we, as the landlord, there would be a sort of through line, but we'd probably only appear in maybe 4 out of 6.
He crafted the accent deliberately after observing market traders near his childhood home in South London. The goal was authenticity, not parody. Murphy said he wanted George to sound like a man who'd rather fix a pint than a problem. During early rehearsals, producers even asked him to tone it down, fearing Americans wouldn't understand. He refused, insisting the accent was the character's soul. Fans later wrote assuming he was born in the East End. He wasn't. The transformation was pure acting craft. Co-stars often broke into laughter hearing his real voice between takes. The contrast became a private in-joke on set. Murphy's performance showed how sound could build identity as strongly as costume. His Cockney wasn't comedy, it was character architecture. That vocal disguise remains one of television's most convincing illusions.
Well, you give them the best years of your life, and what happens? First opportunity, they go gallivanting off with another man.
Fact 12.
Oh, you look almost handsome.
Steady on, Mildred. I know what uniform does to you. I don't want it torn.
Yootha Joyce's beehive hairdo wasn't simply fashion, it was storytelling. Costume designer Mary Husband designed her look to mirror ambition and emotional change. As Mildred became more determined to climb the social ladder, her hair grew taller, her colours brighter. Every outfit signalled her mood. Lilac for hope, red for irritation, beige for resignation. The attention to detail was meticulous. Even her handbags matched wallpaper patterns. Joyce insisted on choosing some of her own jewellery to give Mildred authenticity. Fan letters poured in asking where to buy her coats. Newspapers dubbed her the suburban style queen. Beneath the glamour lay commentary. Mildred's elegance contrasted her modest means. Her wardrobe represented both pride and pressure. Costume told a second story when dialogue fell silent. Modern stylists still reference her silhouette in retro campaigns. It proved visual language could express class as sharply as words. In George and Mildred, fashion became philosophy with a laugh track.
Shy hero rescues drowning boy, then disappears into crowd.
About you?
Well, sort of. I was one of the crowd he disappeared into.
Fact 13.
Well, I blame it on our radio.
How do you mean?
Well, on Anne's radio, it won.
Well,
After Yootha's passing, Brian Murphy faced endless questions about continuing the character alone. In 1988, he returned to television as Clarence, a clumsy handyman clearly modelled on George Roper. The series reunited him with director Peter Fraser-Jones and shared the same gentle humour. Murphy later admitted he accepted the part to process grief. He said, "It was my way of saying goodbye to Yootha." The new show traded marital squabbles for tender awkwardness, pairing Clarence with housekeeper Jane, played by Josephine Tewson. Critics affectionately called it George and Mildred reborn with hope. Though it lasted only one series, audiences embraced its warmth. Fans saw it not as imitation but closure. Murphy proved he could carry emotion and comedy simultaneously. Clarence served as a quiet epilogue to Britain's favourite couple. It reminded viewers that laughter often hides healing. Through it, Murphy honoured both friendship and legacy with grace.
can I speak to Stan?
It's the rubber dog.
Oh, yeah, I should have rung him. Not here.
He says he's not here.
Fact 14.
And after 4 weeks training, they could, what was the phrase they used? Something about silk purse. Anyway,
Most fans don't know George and Mildred inspired several international versions. Australia produced Fred and Kate, almost scene-for-scene identical, but set in Sydney suburbs. Germany's Ein Herz und eine Seele borrowed its marital sparring tone decades later. Even the US briefly developed a pilot that never aired. Translating British class humour proved nearly impossible. The jokes relied on subtle accent hierarchies. Producers abroad underestimated how local the show's irony was, yet its themes, marriage, pride, frustration, resonated globally. Bootleg tapes circulated among English expatriates worldwide. Some European channels dubbed episodes, creating surreal double laughs from mismatched timing. The remakes may have failed, but the fascination endured. The Ropers became cultural shorthand for domestic chaos everywhere. Their bickering crossed borders even when the humour didn't. It proved that the language of love and irritation needs no translation.
You should come along and meet him. Bring Mr. Roper.
Oh, I'd love to.
I put him on it, and he did it again.
Fact 15.
writing out a ticket, you see, for the driver, when his mate sneaked up behind me and shoved a cement bag over me head.
More than 4 decades later, George and Mildred remains one of Britain's most replayed sitcoms. It airs on nostalgia channels, streams online, and fills convention halls with lifelong fans. Younger audiences discover it as a time capsule of wit and wallpaper. Academics still quote it in studies on gender and class. Brian Murphy, now in his 90s, says fan letters arrive weekly. Each rerun sparks new affection for Yootha Joyce's brilliance. Modern writers cite it as blueprint for Gavin and Stacey and the royal family. Its humour is gentle, observational, and profoundly British. The show proved ordinary life could be extraordinary if told truthfully. Even without special effects or shock tactics, it made millions laugh and think. In every argument and sigh lay recognition. George and Mildred wasn't just a sitcom, it was social history disguised as farce. Decades on, fans are still figuring it out and still smiling.